Hey, this is Mel from howtoplayguitars.com, and today I just wanted to address a very common problem that I find my students struggling with very often, and that is how to play the dreaded F chord. Very often students just complain that number one, it hurts, number two, it's too hard, number three, very often they say, well, how can I make this easier? So over the years, I've come up with different ways to make this chord easier. And so that's what I'm going to show you today. All right, so in order to make the F chord easier, there's lots of different ways to do this, but one way to start this is just to start with a simple C chord. So if you have a simple C chord, first finger, first fret on the B string, second finger on the D string, second fret, third on the A string, third fret. There's your C chord, right? And usually you don't play the low E string, but if you do, it doesn't always sound great. You have to use it sparingly. There's certain Beatles songs and things like that that actually do use that. But regardless, we're doing the C chord here. Okay, to go to an F chord, what we're going to do is we're going to take the second finger and third finger. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. How's how I number the fingers. That's pretty universal now. I just take the second and third fingers and move them down. So then my second finger is on the G string, second fret. My third finger is on the D string, third fret. And my first finger is still on the first fret of the B string. I have the C chord. I brought them down here to the D string and the G string. And there's my F chord. Now, here's the thing. Really, okay, if you just play those three notes, if you're playing fingerstyle, or even if you're playing up with a pick, okay, that's fine. But very often you're going to find that you might want to strum more notes than that. So people recommend muting the strings. So you can mute the A string with the third finger, maybe the low string with the thumb. At that point, you might as well just even try to play that low F with the thumb. But that might be difficult. Sometimes it makes people do weird things with their hands because they're trying to get this too, and so that can be difficult. I have an easier solution though. I'm going to go back to that C, go from C to F, and I'm just going to leave the open E, the E open, okay? So I'm going to go from C to the F major 7, just by leaving that E open. That's a very easy way to do it, and I leave my first finger there so that I switch like this, from C to F, C to F, just moving those two fingers down, okay? Then once you get that chord to the point where it's pretty comfortable and you can do it pretty easily, then what you can do is you can just take that first finger and just lay it flat. Now, my finger lays on the string a little different than many people because I damaged this finger years ago. You kind of see the difference between the two fingers a little bit, maybe. Maybe you can't, but you see a little bump right there. So anyway, it didn't heal quite right. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't really hurt that much. I know every once in a while it will bother me, but most of the time I don't feel a thing. So anyway, when I lay it down, it might be a little different for you, but I just lay it down like this on the left side of that first finger, right? See right here. And so a lot of people try to do it like this, and that's too far over. It's just you're just bringing that first finger down like this. And I'm not moving these two fingers very much at all. Just laying that first finger flat, okay? So that's my basic F chord. That might still be really hard for people. Again, I go from F major 7 with the open E, okay, to this guy. So one thing you can practice is just pivoting from one to the other. And at first it's really hard, but eventually it becomes easier, and eventually you'll be able to get that chord, okay? So you get that down. Then the next thing you can often do is just take the third finger, bring it up to the A string, third fret, put the pinky now on the third fret of the D string, and I've got a 5-string, 4-finger F chord like this. Okay, very common. Right? Okay. All right. Then I can take the first finger and put it up here. And now I got the full-fledged F chord there. Very often, again, people say, "Oh, that's so hard. I can't do that." How do you do that? One thing you can do is to strengthen that first finger is you take that first finger, lay it on the side, and try to get just 2 notes to come out like here on these two. F and the C, which is again an F chord, part of an F chord. You could even get away with that if you had to, if you were in a pinch. You can slide that up, slide it up, and it's kind of a cool trick. Okay. Then you can put your second finger on the G string, 2nd fret. Okay, now you got a little mini F chord there with the A and the bass, essentially. Okay, you can put your 3rd finger here, then move it up, get the 4 finger 5 string version, and then do that. Okay, that's one approach. Now another thing is I was gonna say is you just start here with these 2 notes and try to do not just 2 notes but maybe 3 notes. Get to the point where you can get all 3 notes to come out pretty easy. Okay, then you do 4. Then you do 5. And then you do 6. Here's another trick thing that I do with that is my 2nd finger, as you might have noticed, sort of leans on the 1st finger a little bit. Just to help that come out. Okay? And then move it up and down. And so forth. You know, move it up and down the strings. Okay? That's one way to, again, that's another way to practice that. And that just strengthens that 1st finger so that you can do bar chords more effectively. Okay. Again, though, if it's really hard for you to bar, again, you can just go from the C to the F major 7. There's songs that do that, like, for instance, like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. The intro to that is something like. Through the chords, okay? That's a great one. I may cover that in another video. So there's lots of songs that do that. Obviously, there are songs that use this version of the F, like Lumineers' "Ho Hey." Okay. There's also songs like "Wanted Dead or Alive" that use the 5-string 4-finger version. Okay, and then there's songs that use the full 6-string 4-finger version. So lots of little ways to sort of work that F chord in with various songs. But again, I would just start with just practicing going from C to F major 7 and get that down. Again, you can start working on, if you've never worked on it before, like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. It's a good way to start that out. Or just a good song to practice that with. Okay? So I kind of get you started on it a little bit. Again, this is Mel from howtoplayguitars.com, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.